Well, a very good afternoon. We're broadcasting outside the Gqeberha High Court, where the defense has called rape accused Pastor Timothy Omotoso as its first witness in its case. During what was just a statement by Omotoso, stated that he was born in Nigeria. He has several branches of Jesus Dominion International across the country. But in 2012 was when, for the first time, he says God called him and said he must come to South Africa and set up a GDI church here in South Africa. He stated that currently there are about 15 branches he has in South Africa. But then the true questions came when it related to the mission houses. He stated that there's a mission house in Durban, which was when the bone of contention came, in which he said that the mission house was a place in which he housed ladies and girls as young as 15 who had musical talent and sometimes came from disadvantaged backgrounds and had no one to finance or even support their gift or their dream of launching out into music. So he said in this mission house, it was a place that had various musical instruments such as the trumpet, the piano and the saxophone, and he would teach several girls how to play the instruments, but play them mostly by himself. But in this house, he kept on stating that it was really a place where he got to groom young girls who were interested in singing in the Crystal Group choir or who wanted to become musicians in the future but had no support from parents or support from home financially to make their dreams a reality. He also did state during cross-examination by defense lawyer Peter Doberman that in the mission house at all times he was the only male who was there, and yes, at times he did sleep there, though he had a house in the same area of Lusanda in Durban. He did also state that his wife, who lived 25 minutes away from them in their own house, did never at all sleep at the mission house but did a time visit. But when Doberman asked him, did he make any sexual advances against the complainants, did he at all say words that were perhaps become interpreted as sexual connotations, he denied that and kept on stating that any time he did say anything of a compliment to a woman's body, it was primarily based on a biblical foundation, stating that in the Songs of Songs there are things that in the Bible that state that you have got beautiful breasts. So when he would comment such things, perhaps the complainants took it in a more derogatory term, but for him it was merely stating a pure holy Bible. So nothing ever said to the complainants was ever in a sexual connotation, but instead he said as a holy man, he complimented them based on the biblical foundation on which he stood on. He ended his argument by saying that he's a man of God, that he has got a spiritual covering over his congregants. He sees his congregants as people that he has been called to heal, to restore, to give hope to. But not at all did he try and infuse a spirit of fear over them. Did he try and intimidate the complainants to stay in the house, to fear him. At all times the complainants could leave the house when he wanted to. He never intimidated them to stay in the house, and never once did he use his power to control the complainants to see him as a father figure, although he did state that the complainants or even people inside the church referred to him as a man of God because they saw him as such, and they referred to him as daddy because that was a spiritual connotation of someone who had a fathering and a covering over them. Doberman ended off his cross-examination to Omotoso, asking him, did he make sexual advances against the complainants, to which he said no. Did he touch the complainants in any sexual manner? He said no. Did he say any terms that would be connotated in a sexual manner? He said no. He asked him lastly, did the complainants ever come to your room individually or as a group? He said yes, but when they did come into my room, it was primarily for advice or coaching or spiritual mentoring, or if they were sick, would also pray for them. But not once was he ever in the company of these girls in the house, whether singularly in his house or in a group inside the house, that he did anything of sexual connotations or sexual advances to the woman inside the house. And also did state that the 15-year-old, the minor at that time, was at the house, was there at her own will, and her parents knew of her being at the house, and there was no instruction for her to leave because she was instructed to him as a man of God who the parents trusted under their care. So tomorrow the defense says that they've wrapped up their cross-examination of Omotoso, and tomorrow the state will begin their cross-examination against rape accused Pastor Timothy Omotoso, the first witness of the defense in the Omotoso case.